And this week we are overthinking marriage and self love and aliens and just chatting with one of my ex boyfriends about a lot of subjects. So, this was supposed to be a conversation about being over 40 and being single and childless. I plan to talk to one of my friends, Ryan Stober, who is also a guy that I dated off and on for a number of years. And the reason I wanted to talk to Ryan is because he's a big overthinker like me. He's really smart. He's really thoughtful. He's really funny. And I wanted to get his take on what it's like to be a childless male over the age of 40 who's also unmarried. But Ryan's mind doesn't quite work like that. While we do get to that subject of marriage, we also cover a lot of other things. But we do have a really interesting conversation about marriage, about personal growth, because Ryan's on kind of a personal growth journey right now. And if you've read my book, you know I've already gone on that whole personal growth journey. It's a lifelong process, but we get into that. So we're gonna get into it here in just a second. I give Ryan a lot of crap throughout this whole thing. He gives it back a little bit. It's a really fun conversation. I hope you stick around. Ready? Let's overthink it.
I just asking. I don't know anything about your podcast. Like I want to know. I want you to tell me
Okay,
a little bit
great.
more.
Here's how I describe it. First
Okay.
of all, I say, just like the book, which you know nothing about,
A little bit
is
about. I know about it. I didn't read it.
the book is a self-help book that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that's the same thing about the podcast. But it's also a little bit broader. It's
Yeah.
whatever I'm overthinking this week, I'm sharing with you. And I kind of do that so I can talk about whatever I want. If it's ghosts, great. If it's self-love, great. If it's meditation, great. Or if it's reality TV, I'll talk about that too. And then I get to bring my friends on, or my flesh suit guy, like you just said, with the
Meat suit.
brain.
Meat
Yeah,
suit.
meat suit with a brain. I bring them on and we chat about whatever I happen to be overthinking this week.
I mean, that you're gonna have like material for forever.
I know that's
Yeah.
what's so great is I literally will sit there and I'll go, what am I overthinking this week? And I'll be
You have to
like,
think about it. I have to think about what I'm overthinking
I
about.
have to think about what I'm overthinking. Do you consider me an overthinker?
It's like the kettle black pot, whatever they call
Well,
it.
you're
I
a
mean,
huge overthinker.
I used to be, and
And
then I thought I got to the end of thinking. Okay, I got to the end. There, it's like the flat Earth theory. It's like one day you just get to the end of it, and so I was like, I thought of everything.
it's like when you get to the end of like TikTok or the end of Netflix and like the Netflix just like bounces and you actually scrolled through all of the selections and you're like, wow, I did it.
Or
I did
that,
it.
or that. Like I never did that with Netflix because I was too busy thinking.
I know you're not a big
But now I got to
Netflix
go to
guy.
Netflix. I got nothing else. It's like the list has been checked off, and on the bottom is watch a Netflix show.
Right. Can we check our audio really quick? I'll cut this part out.
Check audio. Do I not sound? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong for this?
Stop.
You should have talked to me this morning. I was on a tear with my brother. We were having a whole conversation about all kinds of things.
About aliens.
But I can answer your questions. So maybe it just comes down to your questions.
The question is, when the guys came out and talked to Congress and were like, there's aliens, what did you think?
Are we back live? Are we live again?
We're working now.
Oh, man, we're working again.
I actually think I fixed the thing that was bothering me. You saw it real time.
We could talk about that instead of aliens. Okay, so what do I think about aliens? I told you, but even... All right, start over. Start again. We'll start for real now because this is the actual start.
This is the actual start. There's so much gray in your beard, and I really like it.
Well, I'm not. It's pepper.
You can call it pepper if you want. If you want to say that to yourself, you can. But I think it looks great.
Thanks.
Okay. Have you ever done like a just for men to your beard? Or
no, because I believe in
always just
equality. I believe in equality, and I think anything with just for men is not.
I agree.
It's not
I agree.
inclusive.
Just for people would be a better name for that product.
I tried just for days. They call it days for days.
Days for days. And was it nice for your beard? Did it look well?
Just really, I was very confused the entire time.
Yeah, your beard was confused. I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that. Okay.
Days for days.
Great. Okay, days for days. Um, what about Days for Grays? Is that a better name for the product though?
Days with grays.
Days with Grays?
Yeah.
Okay.
It could mean any part of the body. Any part.
If I know anything about you, you don't like when I correct your puns or when I try to like refine your pun jokes. It kind of bothers you.
Thanks.
You do. You don't like it.
Because it's like I make a nice pie, a nice chocolate cheesecake thing, and then you come and you put your fist in it.
It's
And it
not
was
putting my
perfectly
fist in
fine.
it. It's like I put like a little bit of caramel topping on top.
Yeah, that looks like a fist mark.
No, you don't like it. I know you don't.
Well,
Okay, so Aliens Congress. I don't even think we're going to start there because I don't think we can get through this. I don't.
Yeah, I can. I can do it. Believe in me.
No, we're going to start with the real.
If you believe in aliens, then
thing.
you should believe in me because I'm a human. I actually exist. So believe in me and give me a chance.
What did you think of the alien thing?
Yeah.
When Congress came out and talked about aliens.
I think they're doing it to distract us from the other actual problems,
which is
the opposite of what the news tells you, basically, right?
I know you think
so.
That.
If the media says up, it's probably down.
Mm-hmm.
If they say it's the opposite. I give you one example. You understand opposites. So that's what I think. I think that Project Bluebeam. Okay, not to be confused with Project Blue Book. That has to do with cars, conspiracy about car prices. Project Bluebeam is about a fake staged alien invasion.
Okay.
Okay. And I actually think that they're sort of like sneaking closer to something like that. So when they have to go, hey, don't pay attention to us over here. Look over there. Look over there.
Who told you about aliens? Who told you about Project Bluebeam?
Oh man, lots of stuff.
What YouTube channel were you watching?
It wasn't any YouTube channel. I picked it up along the way. Lots of little things. Lots of like different. Like I look for things that overlap. You know, different people having conversations, and so I've kind of put the puzzle together.
Okay, that's enough. With that
all right, that's it.
That's enough.
That's all I get.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm in Congress, like testifying before Congress here.
Okay.
You're reclaiming your time.
If you're wondering why I talk to Ryan like this, it's because Ryan and I dated for a period of time. Do you want me to cut this part out?
No, it's your show.
I'll cut it out though.
Why? Why are you talking about it if you're going to cut it out?
It's because we dated for a period of time. On and off for a while. And it was sort of, I don't even know what it was, but that's why I can talk to him like this. Because anybody who has dated someone, you know, you have that kind of rapport, right?
You can be rude to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, we dated when I lived in New York, we met, and it was like really a long time ago, which is kind of depressing. It means we're really old, and it means time can pass really fast, kind of. Okay. Well, we're almost the same age. So what I know, I feel like because I have known you for like 15 years, regardless of dating or not, I know a lot about things that you like and don't like aliens. And I have kind of a thing in my head about your preferences. And one thing I think I know is that you don't want to get married, maybe. You are over 40, you're not married, you don't have kids. These are all things that are like me. And I think living in our society, a lot of people are married and have kids, and it can be kind of like going against the grain when you make the decisions that we've made. So I want to talk to you about that if you can stay on topic.
I try. The whole time you're saying that, I was thinking how you hold your mic like you're doing stand up. Like
and that's the other thing that we have in common is we both would like toy with being stand-up comedians, which maybe I always feel like you and I are a lot alike. Do you think that or not? No, you're like
brother and sister.
Like yeah, a little bit.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. No, it's a joke.
Oh,
that's not even. Yeah. I don't know. Are we alike?
I think we are. Well, here's why I think we're alike.
Kind. That's all I can tell you.
You are one of a kind.
Yeah.
Here's why I think we're alike. Yeah. I think we both toy with stand-up.
Not anymore, but anyway. Keep going.
No, I don't anymore either.
The world just stopped being funny, so I gave up.
Well, that's sad.
That's why I gave up.
Yeah. No, I think we both like we're both always searching for something, whether it's like questioning the universe and questioning like bigger things or questioning creative projects. When I talk to you, um, in the past, or I don't know about what you're working on now, you're kind of like always working on something, or you're always questioning something, or you're always into a new thing, like you're into a cold plunge, or you're into Wim Ha, and I'm the same way. I'm very much like, if you call me this 6 months, I'm going to be into something. The next 6 months, I'm going to be into something else. Like you're kind of like that kind of spirit. And I feel like I am too. We're both really independent.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just feel like there's a lot of things about us that are a lot alike.
Okay. I don't disagree.
Okay. All right. I
But
feel like
I'm trying to behave so that we stay on topic and so
okay. Okay.
I want to behave here
Why do you think you've made it this long being single?
because I'm smart.
Mhm.
No, okay, so I can just
Do
what
you get
I
a lot of the question? Do you get a lot of that question of like, why are you still single kind of a thing?
well, I don't think in the same way that it's portrayed that women have. Like women are like what we're gonna lose your childbearing years and like all the movies and the books and all the stuff. Guys don't have that problem.
Right.
I think people are just like, I don't know. I don't no one really asks me other than people who shouldn't be asking me, like people who are married, people who have kids, right?
Mhm.
I think that's what I was telling you yesterday about the tattoo thing. Was like I always hated tattoos. So if someone asked me with a bunch of tattoos, why don't I like tattoos? Like why would I tell that person with a bunch of tattoos that I think it looks ridiculous?
Yes, exactly.
Right?
I understand that.
Now
Yeah.
I can be serious for a second about this because
I want
I
you to be serious.
no, I know. So here's the thing. I I just was in Colorado last week, and uh, I go out there a few times a year at this point. I got a place in the mountains that I can go, and mostly I picked that because family was close and blah blah blah. So mom and dad came up, and they were only going to stay for half the time. Which in my head I was like, nice, I get a couple days by myself, And it has nothing to do with them. It's just that every time I go to Colorado, it's like family's always there, and I never am by myself. And so, I remember I was in sort of a quiet mood the entire week, and my parents were like worried about me. Like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And like at some point, like and so over the years, there's sort of been like, well, because I go every time I go out there is what I should say. My dad will sort of like sneak in at some point, like, and he'll sort of say it under his breath, like, oh, how come you never like come out here with a chick, like you don't bring a
Y-
girl, like what are you doing? And I'm like, I laugh because I literally tell him, I'm like, because I don't want somebody to think I'm real serious by bringing it, like just in general. I'm like, if I'm not serious about anybody, why would I, because then it feels like
Then it becomes a thing.
then
Yeah.
it becomes a thing, and then it becomes work in my mind, right? And
Mhm.
that doesn't sound very good when I say it that way. But
I
here's
understand
what I
that.
was getting at is with the parents, right? So over the years, I think they're very like I don't think they care, but I don't think they understand because I don't think I've ever been honest with them about it. And because I don't want to let them know, I told my brother this. I said, I don't want to let them know that they're part of the reason that I have this opinion, that I feel
Oh
this
gosh,
way.
I hope your mom doesn't listen to my podcast.
Yeah, well, she's right over here. Hey mom, you like this? But no, but it's
So what is it about your parents that makes you
no,
not?
well,
What is it about that?
they're
You can
for
tiptoe
you
around it,
can
but
I'm not tiptoeing around it. I just say that to be honest about it, I would have to say that I saw growing up, I had an opinion or I was shown that it just seemed like a struggle all the time. Everything was
mm,
always like a battle. Everything was always a compromise, and not in a good way. Always in like there's always frustration, and there was I'm just not I'm just not like that. Um,
right.
but I think it's partly because of what I witnessed. And I'll tell you too, other friends, people, other parts, different family members, friends, people I've known throughout my life over the last 20, 30 years. I just feel like I always come away with these are people who have reasons why they can't do things. They would like to do something, but they can't, right?
Yeah.
They're always like, well, I'd like to, but da da da, right? So whether it's
Mhm.
marriage or kids, it always came across as something that prevented you from doing something you really wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying
It
that's
seems
true.
like too big of a sacrifice for you. You never saw like the reward never outweighed like the downside.
It and I understand there's times where it was kind of funny because there was a few friends I had, over the years that, oh, I can't, the wife, yeah, and it turned out that sometimes they were just saying that just as a reason to not do something. So it's not like I understand, like, they sometimes people are full of shit, but but it just seems like, especially in New York, how many times have you known people that got married, had kids, and all they ever talked about and all they ever lost sleep about was, oh, we got to live in this part of the town, got to move to Jersey, got to get into school, got to, and I was like, that just didn't seem like, it just didn't make sense. I was like, why? What's the point of life if all you're doing is worried about getting by, right?
Yeah.
And that's not just a marriage thing. That's just multiple decisions. And I could go on and on about how, like everybody probably can come up with many reasons why society is all screwy, but the idea of, like, if you're going to get involved with somebody and then it just, every choice becomes a pain in the ass and everything is like, I don't want to do that, but I have to.
Yeah.
Right. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's just like, well, what's the point? Right. What's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah.
By the way, if I had kids, they would be taken away by the government, child protective services
I
or
don't believe
whatever.
it. Why? What would
I
you do?
do, just because I'd probably make a dumb joke and,
No.
I wouldn't get,
You
I
don't
wouldn't
get
get along with most parents. I would not get along with most
I
parents.
believe that, but you don't get your kids taken away for making a dumb joke.
Well,
Most dads
I'd be
would
the
get their
first.
kids taken away.
I'd be the first.
So,
So
yeah, no, I understand that. I kind of feel that way too. Like when I think about getting into a relationship or getting married, I'm like, well, I'm at the point in my life where I really don't want to do anything I don't want to do. And when you're in a relationship, you suddenly have to do all these things for another person and fit their schedule. And it just does not seem very appealing to me.
well, it's a liability.
Yeah.
Then don't
What
do it.
you're also just you're such a fiercely independent person. So do you not like the idea of just being attached to someone else or
No,
like
no, but what I should add to this is I'm liable for a lot of things. I make my own choices, and what I mean is, does somebody want to be with someone like me? So, I think that I have to grow and learn a lot. I have to be somebody who is worth being around, worth being with, worth investing time into. I'm not going to leave that out. I do think that as I've gotten older, thank God, I've gotten over, like, when I was young, my first high school love, right? I was so emotionally wrapped up in that. I I
Mhm.
I don't know why or how, because I looked around, there was people my age and that didn't have that happen to them, and I'm like, God, I'm so jealous, because I was, every breath and that I took in was like all about
Like this
being in love
person.
with the high, yeah, and it was like, no, anything could ruin my day, anything could make it the
Mhm.
best day, and I was my own worst enemy, and my imagination ran wild, and I suffered. I self-inflicted suffering. I That's what it was. And and then as I got older, it changed slowly, but I'm finally at mid 40s. I'm like, God, thank God that part's done. Like, I want to
Right.
be emotionally invested, but I don't want to be emotionally, like, I don't want
Right.
that, and that's on me. That's not the other person's fault. That's my fault.
No,
You
I feel
know.
the same way. Okay, a few questions that come out of that. First of all, does younger you, did 22-year-old or obviously 18-year-old Ryan, but did 22-year-old Ryan think he'd be married at 46?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, he was a different guy. Um, do you think it's better? Well, I already know your answer to this.
Well, but no, the viewers don't know.
Okay. Do you think it's better to be the person that likes someone more, the person that likes someone more, or likes someone less in a relationship? Because I feel like, do you think there's
Is
always an
there
imbalance?
No,
Is
yes,
there?
I think there's always an imbalance. I was gonna say,
Yes.
is there ever not some kind of imbalance?
Yeah. There's
And
always an imbalance,
yeah,
right?
I, in my experience.
Yeah. I think there's always an imbalance. Um, and which I think you obviously want to be the person that likes the person less, right?
No, because not anymore.
Not anymore.
Because then I got scruples, man. Then I got like, then I'm always walking around just like, all my actions are like deceitful, what are my intentions? What am I trying to get out of this? You know? And so I think that all I feel is very manipulative in that situation.
You're not, but you're not a manipulative person. I will
Well,
tell you that.
I would disagree. I think everybody
I
is
don't think
to
you
some
are.
degree.
You're not, though.
All right,
When
well,
it comes
fine.
to guys, I will tell you this. You can refer your future dates to this podcast. I was the one that liked you more in our situation.
Okay.
And you are always very much like, I mean, brutal. Like, yeah, I mean, you never manipulated my feelings and told me what I wanted to hear. That is not your game. It's like you're either here for the ride or you're not. Like, there is no emotional manipulation about
I can't
you.
bullshit people,
Yeah, there's no bullshit factor about you. So it was like I was either gonna like take it or leave it. Take what you had to offer or leave it. There was no emotional manipulation about you.
Well, then you got a dog. So it's the
And
same
then I
thing.
got a dog, and I'm so in love with this dog.
Yeah, that dog will not manipulate you except if you stop feeding it.
Well, he's very manipulative, this dog.
I don't know anything about dogs.
Very manipulative. Anyway, so I'd say you're not emotionally manipulative at all.
Well,
so you should feel good about that.
I feel good.
Yeah,
this is not podcast. This is therapy. You're gonna send me a bill.
Yeah, I am.
You take Venmo? Do you do Venmo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. PayPal, everything.
PayPal.
I don't pay PayPal actually. I don't know my I don't know my PayPal password.
I want to use Pay Acquaintance. I'm not friends with it. Like, just I know Pay. It's not.
I know Pay. See, and my instinct is like to try to like build on or one up your joke when you're like Pay Acquaintance. I'm like, it's the copywriter in me. I can't help it.
Well, that's what keeps you functioning.
It's what keeps me employed. So how are you trying to amp up your self-worth? Because you told me you're kind of working on it.
Well, I would be okay. Here's the thing. I've seen people in the world. You've seen people in the world, and whether they're just really good actors or if they're genuine, authentic, I don't know. But there are people that literally love themselves.
Right.
Right. And I think we all do. Well, this is a mobile podcast. Got to go.
I'm getting something to drink.
Got to go to Starbucks. Let's go to Starbucks. Okay, she's getting something to drink, so I'll fill the air here. No, but still talk. No, I know. It's just you getting up and walking around. I've never seen a podcast. No, the first time I've seen somebody like this. Of somebody walking around. No. Okay. No, self-worth, self-love. I don't think you realize that's an issue until it's something that is sort of shown to you. I think my entire life people could have said that, and I don't know that I would have been like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah. No, I think it's a
well, you come off really confident
or aloof. No, but like, yeah, I think that it actually is a very interesting question because I don't know. I'm still in the middle of it and trying to understand how it is that I feel the way I do about myself is very, very like, whoa. And just to even have that question, why do I feel the way I do about myself, makes you kind of stop like a deer in the headlights and be like, I don't even understand how that's possible. Like I looked at a photo of myself a few days ago, I was in Colorado, like I said, and I had a few days on my own. And those were days of like self-reflective, moments. And I remember looking at some photos of me and having a negative reaction to it. But it wasn't any particular like thing, like it made me think of this or that. It was just an overall like, wow, I have a specific feeling about myself and I don't know why. Mm-hmm. And it was not a good feeling. It was like, and I was like, what is it that I don't like about myself? And how the hell did that even happen? How does that happen? Because I'm not intentionally going like, I want to like right now think bad things about myself. I want to feel bad about myself. It's the most bizarre thing. I think it's very interesting you asked me that now because it was only a few days ago and I went, where the hell does that come from?
I think we probably talked about it because it was like during COVID, I did like a ton of work. Like everyone's like, do the work. I did the work in this space, like because I had the same kind of realization. And there's a lot of books. Some of it's in my book, Ryan, but there's better books. Like the book I told you to read, Dark Side of the Light Chasers, is really good. And it's all about loving yourself and self-worth, but it's like about drilling down and figuring that out, like listening to your inner monologue. Oh my God, listen to what I'm saying to myself all the time. There's even an exercise about a picture, about getting a baby picture, which this is literally why I have a baby picture and set it around, and then a everyday picture, like one of your pictures, and set it around. And your instinct, like you had that instinct, and I think I used to have that a negative instinct, but when you see it, so you have this picture of you and you see it and you're like, oh my God, I love her. Oh my gosh, she's so creative. She is so strong. I love I love all the things she's done in her life. And you have to retrain your brain. And it takes a lot of work. And there's all these exercises, and they make you like think back to the first time you thought something negative, the first time that you remember feeling, small, or the first time you felt weak, or like all these things. And you kind of identify where they came from. And then you really have to just like retrain your brain to like not think these things about yourself. And it's a lot of work, but it really works. It honestly works.
Well, I think that for, with the whole idea of why aren't you married? Why don't you want kids? All that. It's all part of that too. That has something to do with it. Self-worth has to do with everything.
Yeah.
Why, like, yeah, there's definitely a people pleaser aspect, and not everybody
Mm-hmm.
gets that out of me. And I almost like, I don't think I abuse people, but I was thinking about, because I've been doing my own work. I've been doing work too, and
Yeah.
and so no, but seriously, I've done some things, a couple things with some people, a couple things on my
Mm-hmm.
own, and it's all kind of in that same world of the shadow work, that little inner child that's
Mm-hmm.
like crying for pay
Right.
attention to me, pay attention to me, um, and and because for me there was always a lack of empathy and compassion, right? Not because I didn't care or didn't want other people to feel good or be safe and healthy, happy, all that. It was just, I it wasn't even a thought. It just wasn't there. And so, and it's still something I go like, how come some people are so compassionate and so full of empathy and so giving and so willing to like, and some aren't. And so I I I have seen some progress though, because I'll give you stupid examples. If I see pictures now of people that I don't know, or whether it's a photo or people in real life, and they might be smiling, or you can see something, they're full of joy or something, and I just stop and I catch myself feeling good for them. I'm like, wow, like that's a genuinely happy moment for that person, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And it's like they say, like the things you judge in life are the things that show up in front
Oh,
of you, right?
100%.
And some I don't understand. I don't get the mirror aspect. I'm like, that I don't understand how that's some reflection of how I feel. That doesn't make sense. I don't
Yeah.
want a guy playing loud music as he driving down the street out of his car. That I don't get that. Like
Like
that's
if that like the
like,
guy playing loud music pisses you off and
yes,
you're like, how is that a projection
yeah,
of me?
yeah. And there's
Right.
certain
Okay.
things where I'm just like, okay, I don't understand that, but but I think the point is that no matter what it is, I stop now and I catch myself thinking, oh, well, they're really enjoying themselves. Wow, they're having a great moment, even though that's not how I would choose to spend my time or what I would do. So I, instead of me going like, what the hell are they doing? It's like, oh, they look like they're having a great time. They look like they're feeling really good right now, and so that does sort of change, and so I can tell you there is some kind of progress
Okay, few
because,
things.
yeah,
First of all, the fact that you're like aware that you need to work on empathy and compassion means you are more empathetic and compassionate than you think you are.
right,
Like I mean, you're not some sort of sociopath. You are aware, like you do since the beginning of meeting you. You do so much. You're always working on yourself, and you're always trying to say, well, I need to do this and I need to do that. And to me, that is someone that is growing and wants to be empathetic and wants to be compassionate, just because maybe you don't think you're as compassionate as, Mother Teresa, I mean, to me, that's a sign of someone who has it in them right there.
I'm a son of a bitch. You got to get the work done.
Yeah, you might be a little bit more of a son of a bitch than the next guy, but what are you going to do about it?
Little mushroom trip. I haven't done it in a long time.
Mom, if you're listening, he hasn't done it in
No,
a long time.
I haven't done it in a long time, but enough over the last 2, 3, 4 years. But I thought, I was like, I'm going to be by myself. This seems like a good time to because I enjoy that. It's like going to school for me. It's not like something I don't think it's fun. I think it's like, okay, you're gonna find out some stuff here, and that's my intention. That's my intention. But yeah, you should be kind of scared. I mean, you're stepping into something that is unknown, and you can't control it, right? But I had this thing come up, and it was like I couldn't make eye contact. It's hard to explain. You're in this world, you're in this realm, and anyone that's done that stuff could kind of understand. But there was a thing going, and I started to process this idea that I couldn't make eye contact. It wasn't anybody I was trying to make eye contact. It was the idea that I'm whether it's shameful or like unworthy or whatever, and it was like, it was the weirdest experience, because it was like no matter what I did, I couldn't look like wherever I was supposed to look. It was like a shameful sort of thing, and all of a sudden I was like, holy shit, I gotta make eye contact, and I was like right, and also turned into a Lyran feline man too, but that's a whole nother thing. So but that to me was very specific. So my personal experience, that made a lot of sense. The idea of making eye contact and the reluctance to do that, and the reason why. And it was like a reminder of like, you got to keep going. You got to keep digging. You got to right the ship, as they say. And you have to reprogram this. And
I think making eye contact is hard too. I mean, if I know you really well, I'm cool with it. But if like I'm in a meeting, I tend to like kind of go like that. It's like a protection thing, or I don't know.
Well, it's for me, it's like if I initiate it, or if I go with it, then I'm locked in.
Then you're like, when do I look away? Now I don't know when to look away.
Well, then that's when you get uncomfortable, because you're going like, why am I doing this?
Now what am I thinking? The eye contact.
I had a really interesting experience with some legitimate eye contact a few weeks ago. I was in Panama, and I was with this group of people that I'm working with, and it was a kind of thing where I had to communicate something to this one person immediately after he did this presentation, because it had to do with something, an opportunity I want to take advantage of. Okay. And I remember telling him, but I remember he was like, okay, yeah. And I remember I looked even more at him. I said, no, seriously, like, I want to make sure that we're connecting on this. And it was a very specific, like, I used my eyes. I was like, and I remember, and he was like, yeah. And he looked at me, and he was like, yes. And it was like, I got what I wanted out of that. And I remember being like, dang, I don't usually do that.
Were you then afterwards, were you like, was that too much eye contact? Tell me the truth.
No, I didn't even talk about it. But you know what it is too, is like, I'm like all gas and no brakes, as they say. Like, it's either 0 or 10.
That's how I am.
And so there's no, like, I don't have that sort of cunning, sort of savvy sort of way to like work my way in and out of social situations. Like, I'm all like John Wayne kicking through the doors, or I'm in the corner just like, don't even bother me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't have the skills to sort of navigate. And like, I'm always jealous of people who can just manipulate you with their body language. Yeah. And with the way they look at you and they talk to you, and the way they can make you feel however they want. And it's usually a situation of like, you're not quite at my level, so I want you to know it. And then you're just like, I don't want to be here, because I'm going to go to a 10, and that's not productive, and that's not good. I don't know what that means. It just means I can't match that frequency.
So I met someone for the first time the other day. It was a business meeting, and I was, you feel like you have to be really on and stuff. So I was kind of like, being all whatever, making a lot of eye contact. And we were leaving and she was like, oh my gosh, we had been referred to whatever. She's like, God, you were just as enjoyable and lovely as, I heard. And we left and I was thinking, she's going to be so disappointed when she really gets to know.
But see, that's
Because
that doesn't that
I
add that adds a level of like shit that you got to carry around with you.
I know. I was like, I'm so stressed out now because after she works with me for a while, not because I won't deliver a great product, but I will not deliver that much charm and that much I don't have that much social ease and that much charisma every time, like throughout the rest of the project, right? Like I'm just an introvert. And I was like, God, I am disappointing. I always start way up here when you meet me. This is more of a work situation. I know I never
Right.
disappointed you. I know I never disappointed you. But I start way up here in a work situation. And then by the time it closes, they're like, God, we thought she was like so cool. And she's like this weird little writer person,
I do know.
Yeah.
I've had similar situations where I felt like at what point am I going to let them know that I'm actually a lot less cool than I think I am, or I'm going to disappoint them, or they're going to be like,
You're going to
never
be
mind.
so disappointed.
What do we do to get ourselves, we want to be authentic,
Right. You want to
and
make a good first impression, but
I want to make an
yeah.
honest impression. I don't care.
Right.
I don't, if everybody liked me, then that would be a real big problem. Cause
Real,
I don't
yeah.
like everybody. And
Yeah.
I don't care that I do or don't like. It's not like, oh, I got to make an effort to like that person. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I got to live my own life, So, but isn't it? It's such a, it's such a bizarre thought to go, well, I'm not good enough, and they'll find out eventually. But oh
They'll find
well,
out eventually. Well,
I'll
so
go
you
home and
know
see my
who
dog.
I'm
Huh?
always really jealous of is you met her. Remember my friend Emily that you came to her house in LA?
Oh,
I'm always so jealous of Emily because the thing that I just described about like, oh my God, you made such a good first impression. Emily makes an amazing 100th impression. Like that little whatever that is never turns off. And she is a good in a social situation the first time and the 100th time. And I'm always like, I literally am always just like sitting there looking at her like, how? Like it's amazes me.
huh.
Yeah. And I
I
mean,
mean,
I know
there are people that actually
there
like
are
other people.
people that are
No,
that
there
actually
are.
like other people.
It's like there's Bigfoots, and apparently there's people that also like other
The-
people, but I have never
no,
encountered one.
I am not even kidding. I can't tell you how often I think of her. I'm like, well, there's always Emily's out there that actually are good at this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. So, but here's the thing: how much time do you want to spend on that? It's not like that's the thing too. The second I think that thought, I'm like, I don't want to even spend any time on this because I know it's not true, and I still like fight it, but I know it's bullshit.
right. Well, no, for you and I, it's different. For you and I, it's like it's not real. For her, I think I know. For her, it's real. Like she's not like it's natural, right? So I think for some people that comes naturally and that is her real self she's doing the first time and the 100th time. And for us, we're like, you're going to see my real self,
I always think of that movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Remember that movie?
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, some people don't, especially young people. But
Well, we're the same age.
right. But so there's that. I always think of that. Like this is what the scene that plays in my head every time I have these moments of like, oh, they're not gonna. It's John Candy in that scene's like, I like me. My wife likes me. And like, you know what I'm talking about? When like, it's just funny. So I always see John Candy saying that line from the movie. I like me. I like me. My wife likes me.
Are you drinking right now?
No, thank God.
How long have you not been drinking?
How long is this podcast? I might start again. No, I guess March.
That's good.
I went to California, did a 12-day water only fast.
Why did you have to? Okay, lots of questions. Why did you have to do it in California?
That's just where the place was. So it's not it's a place you could just go. It's not a place it's not like a facility or something. There's this doctor out there. I saw him do a podcast. This
Mm-hmm.
doctor, it's Dr. Alan Goldhammer.
Okay.
And so he has been doing this for 30, 35 years. And
Is
he
it
has a
specific? Is it designed to get you to quit drinking?
no. Has nothing to do
Okay.
with that. It's just it
Okay.
has to do with the benefits of water fasting. That's all it is. This had nothing to do with drinking. Zero. I just
Okay.
use it as an example. I just use it as
As a start, a jump
of the
start.
yeah. It was sort of like I'm gonna do that because I want to do it for a while. I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna get off of a bunch of stuff. So like even caffeine and sugar and salt and like you just try to maintain that afterwards. So uh so yeah, it's a bunch of stuff I'm not doing at the moment.
Oh, okay.
I recommend
So,
it to everybody.
okay. So, do you feel amazing?
I feel okay.
Oh,
My wife likes me. I like me. John Candy. No, I I I think it's good for the health. I want to be like 80 years old and still be like exactly how I am.
okay.
So you can't do that with tequila.
No,
So
no. Do you just drank water for 12 days?
yeah,
That sounds so painful.
it's not. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Ketosis kicks
How?
in because I had more energy and I was more even keeled and during that whole time. The only time it got hard, well, the only time it was tough was the first few days before I went when I actually just cold turkeyed everything, and I even started eating less. I was eating like fruits and just the stuff they recommended, like slowly weaning myself off of it. But I was like, oh, I'll stop drinking, but I forgot about the caffeine and the sugar. I forgot all, so I was just like, oh, right. But then when I got there, it was really easy. Um,
Why do you need
and
to be at a facility to do this?
well, because I think that there are people that do it for 40 days. There's a woman there in her 70s that's how she manages her Parkinson's symptoms. She
Oh,
does
wow.
40-day fasts. Like I did 12. I would have done longer, but they had to kick me out because they had other people. They're like, dude, you have to go home, but you can't stay here. You gotta go. And so but 12 days is the max I could do at the time. I would have loved to do like 21 days. Um I think that I was the only one there
What
not
else
the
did
only
you
one, but
do besides just drink water at this place? I mean,
well, you just kind of like you're supposed to rest. You're supposed to relax. The whole point is to just have the time to fast. Every twice a day, doctors come in and take your vitals and they check on you and all that. And you do all this blood work at the beginning and do all this stuff. So I think they're partly researching though. They're trying to
oh.
they're researching what.
Did you get in a group like if you're in rehab and talk about just drinking water?
No, no.
Oh,
No, but
okay.
they also had it's a whole thing. You could go on about it. But my point is that I just sort of like hit a hard reset,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Do you know anything about attachment styles?
No.
Well, there's like a secure attachment style, which everybody wants. An insecure attachment style, which I think I used to have probably when we dated. The avoidant attachment style, which I think you had, and a fearful avoidant attachment style. Anyway, I just wondered if you knew about them and thought maybe you were avoidant.
No, I can tell you in my experience, I have put myself most of the time in situations where there was always some sort of arm's length. Like,
Mm-hmm.
look, that is something that I became very aware of in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I totally did that on purpose.
Oh,
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, but I don't, yeah, it's self-worth. It always comes back to self-worth because I realize that everything I think is based on how I feel about myself.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah.
so
What do you think made you avoidant? And I mean, avoidant is like it's in the name. It's
I
just
can tell
like
you, I can tell you,
the
you don't want to get hurt.
yeah.
That's all it is. That's all. It's all about everything in life's about fear.
Yeah.
It's mostly about money, but it's also fear of rejection. Fear of rejection
Mhm.
and fear of money, I think, are the top. I don't give a shit about bears and stuff. Like, I'm not scared of. Okay, I'm scared of that, but
Yeah.
I'm more
I mean,
afraid
have
of
you seen
like.
Have you seen Cocaine Bear? Because that was
No,
scary.
no, I'm not watching that.
Okay.
Somebody was busting my
It's
balls about watching
it's not really
Barbie.
that it's not really that good. Barbie.
Uh,
Okay, we'll save that for a minute. Another minute. You would
so
hate. By the way, you would hate Barbie. I know
I
you.
don't, I don't. Everyone seems to tell me all about how I should feel about Barbie.
Well,
Everyone's
okay,
telling
a
me that.
few things.
We can go back. We can go
I
back.
want to.
We got to
I
go
want to
back to the.
finish this. I want to finish this, and then I'll tell you. I'll tell you how you should feel about Barbie.
Okay.
Um. Okay, so avoidant. It's like it's in the name. Obviously, it just means like when something gets close, you pull away. You'd rather be alone, frankly. You're just kind
Hmm.
of like fiercely independent. And like the
Yeah.
minute a relationship goes like one step over whatever your like boundary is, you're like, you'll pull away. You might come back, but then you're going to pull away again. And like that's always how I felt with you. You'd like need your space. Once you got enough of it, you'd come. And then
But
you
I
whoop.
wasn't always like that though. I started out the opposite
I
in
know
my
it sounds
in my
like it.
life. Like
Sounds
when
like it.
even I don't know. See, that's the real puzzle. Is like,
And
yeah.
well, sorry, one more thing. That's what they say in there's a book called Attached, which is about attachment styles. And attachment styles can change, well, can and will change throughout your life. Like you can be one here,
Oh
and
yeah.
one here.
I'm the opposite. As
Yeah.
whatever I was, I'm the opposite now.
Yeah.
So I guess the opposite of what I am now, I can identify it. So
So
I
it
know
sounds
what it
like you
was.
were insecure in high
Yeah.
school.
Oh yeah.
You were because you were so needy about the relationship
I
and
just
like it
was.
was
I got too much
overthinking it.
attention. Too much attention for being cool, attractive young man. And I was like, God, it's too much. No, I was definitely insecure, and I was very into my hair. My hair had to look a certain way, and if it didn't, I was like, I can't be out in public.
When did you lose your hair?
It, after they went on strike, all my hairs went. We're leaving. We can't deal with this.
How
You
old were
know.
you?
Honestly, it was like 2 weeks after graduating high school, and my sister's boyfriend at the time goes. He looked at my hairline. He goes, "Ah, looks like you're getting a little thin up there." Like this was 2 weeks after.
Seriously?
I swear to God,
That's
and
young.
I know, I know.
I think
I
you look great bald.
I'm luckily, right? But I
Yeah.
haven't had I've been shaving my head since the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, there was like one picture of you in your apartment with hair, but like I don't think I've ever really
Oh,
seen you with hair.
I got a picture. I can show you in a second.
Okay.
We can keep talking. You're gonna get a kick out of this. You've probably seen this picture, but this will actually this is exactly what I was like back then. Where is it?
Okay. I have seen that.
Focus
I
on
have
it.
seen that.
Oh, it's too bright.
It's too good. Were you at Glamour Shots in that picture?
No, that was like school.
Oh my gosh.
That was
You're
like
oh, that jacket.
yeah, that was like school. I
That's
was like a
hilarious.
look like a lost boy.
Yeah.
Not the Peter
Yeah.
Pan, not Peter Pan, the one with the vampires.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved that movie. It
Peter
was like
Pan lost
so
boys.
naughty. Um,
Scary.
So, what do you think made you switch? You said you like fear, but like obviously you went from like insecure, maybe secure for a little bit at some point, and then you turned to like an avoidant
No,
attachment
no.
style.
I think I don't think they're related.
Okay.
I think what happened was, like I said, I just got so tired of the
Feeling
emotional
that way.
strain. I got tired of feeling bad about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Bad about, oh, I'm not good enough, or why doesn't this person want me around? Like whatever it is. I just got I got so drained emotionally from that, from creating that I think I just was like, I don't want to feel that way anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a defense mechanism, and nobody wins in this life. There's no winners. It's just there's just different kinds of losers.
And let's end on that note. Thank you very much, everybody.
I was kind of true. You know,
Oh
I realize that, like I said, there's a whole lot more to this, because there's all different kinds of things that you learn about in life that you could apply to it. It all affects all the decisions. And the only thing that I think is important is, for me, is as long as I'm authentic,
Mm-hmm.
I can't be too critical. The work takes time. It's not going to happen today. I notice changes and improvements, but I don't think of them as change or improvements. I just think of them as like, because I don't want to think of having to improve myself. I just want to find the way to get past the programs, to get past the things that that aren't natively mine, weren't part of me when I came here, right? So that's all learned behavior. It's things that you hear, things that you're impressionable, as they say, when you're young, especially. So
So shadow work,
sure.
like so much of that is not about like I need to improve myself. It's about I need to accept myself. Like
Okay.
I need to understand that there are all these parts of me and some of them are I'm not very compassionate and I don't have a ton of empathy, but I'm also a good guy and I try to be really straight up and straightforward with people and not be manipulative, and I'm a creative guy and I'm awesome and I'm this and maybe I'm not that empathetic and whatever. Like shadow work is about accepting both sides of you and knowing that you have to have both sides to be a fully integrated person full of self-worth. Like it's about the light and the dark.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm on this continuous journey to improve myself. It's about just loving all of it, you know?
Well, it's like giving that part of you a seat at the table. There has to be a crack in the dam. There has to be an aha moment. There has to be an overall moment of integration, or maybe it's just a slow burn, and eventually I'll be like, oh, I just had to give it time, and it worked. But
I think it's a slow burn. I think it's a
yeah,
slow burn. I think
yeah.
it comes from like really retraining your brain. I think like listening to the thoughts, the stuff you're telling yourself, listening to the stuff you're thinking, and make sure you're talking to yourself the way that you want to be talking to yourself, and you're sending yourself the messages you want to be sending yourself. Are you saying I'm a stupid loser all the time? Well, that's not going to get you anywhere. Like make sure you're building the kind of inner monologue that you need for self-worth.
I think it's all relays back. I mean, all the choices and decisions we make are generally out of fear. I'm
Okay.
afraid that if I do or don't do this, this is going to happen. And it's number one is money. So one reason why I didn't want to get married and have kids was partly because I didn't have to have the stress of the financial responsibility of it.
Okay.
I'm pretty risky with my money. So I'm like, doesn't fly, you know? So, if you're afraid, then of course you're not gonna, some people are afraid in the opposite. So they're like, I got to run to a safe partner to like latch onto, because that's what you do. You gotta,
That's
I'm
what
safe.
safety is.
I'm safe. But it's the same reaction. It's the same catalyst. We just have
Healing.
different ways of dealing with it.
So, do you ever see yourself getting married? Could you see us having this conversation when you're 55 and you're a married guy?
I think that all I can say is I'm a much better person for somebody else than I would have been in the past.
Yeah.
So I don't think beyond that. It's not a plan. It's not like there's no roadmap to it. It's right now, I'm very grateful that I did what I did, because the things I've done in my professional life and my personal, but mostly like the choices I've made, I would not have been able to make them the same way
As a
if I
married
was.
dude.
Nah,
Yeah.
because some people would say there's a lot of irresponsible decisions, a lot of like flippant sort of like, just gonna do this today, or it's okay, here's $5,000, I'll whatever, if I lose it, I lose, stuff like that, whatever.
A wife would not have let you spend as much on crypto as you did. Okay.
No, but that's the thing, and I would have been really pissed off. I would have been a very angry person if I was like, I see something, I want to take advantage of it, whether I succeed or fail. I'm not risk averse. I like taking the risk because it's like the reward is great.
Yeah.
I've lost a lot of things and along the way, whatever. But I've always been a contrarian kind of person in that way too. And that's not healthy. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with a contrarian.
Well, I was just going to say, okay, here, this comes back to when you said, I haven't seen the Barbie movie and everybody says I should see it. And I'm tired of people saying, I'm like, I know why you haven't seen it.
One person told me that. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I know why you haven't seen it, because you're such a contrarian. And if everybody is doing something, you're going to do the opposite.
No, a contrarian would see Barbie movie.
Oh, would it?
Yeah, but I'm not.
Why?
Because most people don't want to see Barbie movie.
That's not true.
Well, women, no.
Everybody wants to see the Barbie movie.
I didn't.
$500 million, more than $1 billion.
That's because it's the only movie out. There's no
Stop.
other movies out.
See,
And
see, this is why you're a contrarian. You're arguing with
no,
me over
but
the
it's true.
popularity of the Barbie movie.
It's true. It's partly true.
No,
And
it's not.
I didn't go watch Fast and Furious. I didn't watch Harry Potter. I didn't like
Well, I didn't watch either of those movies either,
but
but
that wasn't because I was like, well, I'm going to be
okay,
contrarian.
that's
I
true.
just
You
wasn't
just weren't
interested in watching it.
interested. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Fine.
I didn't see The Whale.
But
And
I
apparently
mean,
that was Brendan Fraser's finest performance. I didn't watch that yet. Does that mean I'm like against fat people or something? No, I just didn't watch
okay,
it.
I'll give you that. I didn't see any of those movies either, not because I'm a contrarian, because I just wasn't interested. But you are a contrarian, and what do you think that means about you? Like, what's that about?
Well, I think it's my current understanding of it
Okay.
is it was a way to protest or rebel the programs that we all seem so happy to follow, right? Well, this is what you do. You go to high school, then you go to college, then you get married, then you have kids, then you get a house, and like that, the classic, right? Like it's been replaced by other things, you know. But
well, yeah, but now it's like if I were to go, the rigatoni's good at this restaurant, you'd go, but why is it good? Who says the rigatoni's good?
no, I would
Why
probably
is
be
the
like, I'd be like this. I'd be
rigatoni
like, all right, okay. No, I don't. I there's a good contrarian and a bad contrarian. The bad contrarian just argues for the sake of arguing, just does something just because they're bored, says, I'm just going to be difficult here just because I can. Right. And they're not even thinking I want to be difficult. They're just thinking, like, I remember, no,
You do it to be funny half the time.
I do it, but right. But nobody likes that.
I don't like it, but I do laugh sometimes.
Well, I'm amazed at how often I do things just because I think that it's funny, and it could be self-deprecating for sure. And other people don't understand what I'm actually doing.
Well, I do the same thing.
Oh, so but so you get it. It's like
That's why we're like brother and sister.
oh God. No, but it's true. It's like I'm always thinking, God, we would all be so much better off if people had a fucking sense of humor.
Yeah.
Like I want to joke all the time because I'm kind of like, why not?
Right.
Why not? Why can't you joke about something serious? It
like
doesn't
I
mean
feel you look like you're on the set of Between Two Ferns right now.
I'm Ryan next to a fern. That's all I'm. No, it's not a fern. It's a same you got.
Between one spider plant. Well,
Yeah.
we're kind of between
Ryan,
two spider
we
plants.
kind of are. Yeah.
We're between two spider plants.
We totally are. That's true. Huh. Interesting.
Okay, I have this article. I'm not going to read it to you, but you're going to react. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, 8 signs you aren't meant to get married.
Okay.
So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to give you the
Who wrote
sign
it?
and you bustle.
What's that?
I don't know. So 8 signs you aren't meant to get married. Number 1, you have problems with compromise.
Okay.
What's your reaction?
I got
yes or no? Is that you or not you?
Yes and no. Mostly yes. Short answer yes, but there is a no in there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a partial.
So like sometimes people are smarter and so they don't want to compromise for a dumb idea.
Okay.
That could be a true thing.
I already know
there's
you
a lot
kind
of
of
bad ideas.
Okay, there are a lot of bad ideas. Like this podcast. Just kidding. Number 2, relationships seem to be more trouble than they're worth.
Less and less as I get older, but yes.
Yes.
I have been the source of the frustration a lot. So
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I don't get it.
This was clearly written for a woman, but I was still going to ask you.
Identify as a woman for this question.
You sit around imagining your dream wedding.
The idea of spending a dime on a wedding doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay.
I can say that, like, I've been to so many weddings. Like, I used to shoot weddings with video when I was young, and I was always like, what the hell is wrong with these people? What a waste of money.
Yeah. You have commitment issues.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. That's a whole nother story.
You're waffling a lot. Oh, you have a strong
No,
sense.
I can. What?
You have a strong sense of independence.
Sure. 100%.
Very much. Very much. You don't look at marriage in a positive light.
That's true.
I know. You don't want to live a traditional life.
That's true.
You are happy with things the way they are.
90%.
Yeah.
I've actually been trying to exercise in my life where it's like, okay, practice gratitude. Think of the thing, and I'm like, or that Neville Goddard sort of like, the feeling of having have the thing that you
Of
want,
already
kind of thing,
having, of
right?
already having, yeah.
And I go like, well, what do I not have that I want?
Mhm.
Because I'm like, I pretty much get to live my life the way I want to. I work way too much, but I find the things I do day to day, it's like I would still be doing that if I had $1 billion. Like I would still want to do a lot
Right.
of those things. And so I'm kind of like, well, I'm already doing them. Right. So
Mhm.
that's been a nice surprise.
Ryan, according to bustle.com, you are not ready for marriage at this time.
Is that website still in business, or is that like from like
No.
2005 or something?
No, I think it's still. I need to cite my sources anyway. This article was by Karen Belts
BuzzFeed.
I know, right? By Karen Belts from February 18th, 2016.
Oh, it is old. I knew it. There's no way they're writing those anymore.
I know. I know. It's a little that went away with the Me Too Me Too movement. It went away.
That all went away when
I don't know why they didn't delete it. It's weird.
For old people like us to find.
I know.
Uncover like a little treasure.
I know. It was a pretty good one. What else do you want to talk about this time, or do you want to save more for our next chat? See how I said that next chat, because I know you're going to just want to come back on my podcast.
Dude, I always want to talk. So
you do?
I like talking. Yeah.
Okay.
If somebody, I have most of my life is unsolicited comments, unsolicited information. It means that like, it's like, I want to tell people stuff
and they
regardless of whether or not they want me to tell them about it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I would love to tell you all about this.
In your mind, why did we not work out as a dating match? Because we're brother and sister?
I don't know.
That's okay. I'll probably cut that. I didn't really get you on here to ask you that question. I just thought maybe it would be a really good last question.
It's a gotcha moment. I can say this honestly though. Whatever it was not my fault.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was going to say. It was not your fault.
That's how you should end it. Whatever it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try that again. Let's take that again. Can we take that again?
Yeah, was that your dog running the sound? Hey, get your paws on the audio. Move, boop, 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 beep, boop.
I just have one last question. Thank you so much to Ryan, and thank you so much for overthinking with me this week. Until next time, wishing you all good thoughts.